Here we are back in London at the Broadgate Arena for the Brit Insurance Super Series Finals 2003. This is a reward for the 8 players top of the PSA Super Series rankings in 2002, split into 2 groups of 4. Sadly, world champion David Palmer and fellow Australian Stuart Boswell were forced to withdraw, and their places have been taken by Martin Heath and Ong Beng Hee. In a round-robin qualifying format, the players are split into 2 groups of 4, starting with the Fleet Group. Peter Nicol of England, the #1 seed. Thierry Linkou of France, seeded 4. Lee Beechell of England, seeded 5. And Martin Heath of Scotland, seeded 7. The Harrow Group features Jonathan Power of Canada, seeded 2. John White of Scotland, seeded 3. Anthony Ricketts of Australia, seeded 6. And Ong Beng Hee of Malaysia, seeded 8. Day 5, and it's down to the big one, the ultimate showdown in squash, the Nicol Power confrontation here at the Broadgate Arena. Tonight, a tough one to call. They both won their semi-finals 3-love. Stand by for fireworks. So after 5 days of fantastic squash here at the Broadgate Arena, it's down to the big one, Nicol v Power in the final. Martin Heath, how do you see this game going?
Well, this is a great rivalry. Both guys are 16-all in matches. Jonathan's had a little bit easier route to the final, but it's his first time in the final of the Super Series Championship. So I'm not too sure, actually. I think he's playing great. Peter Nicol has had 3 3-2s in the group matches. So, I mean, I'm going to sit in the fence, I think. I would probably more than likely say that Power's in better physical shape than he usually is at this time of year, because it's not quite the end of the season yet. But it's going to be a very, very interesting match.
Well, they both won their semi-finals 3-love. They're both moving well last night, both
Absolutely,
looking sharp.
Yeah.
But they'll both have their eyes on Qatar next week. Will they just forget that now once they're on court?
No, I mean, Peter's won the Super Series 3 times before. He's gone for his 4th to equal Jan Khan's record. Jonathan Power has never won this one before. He really wants this. He's the Commonwealth gold medalist, world #1, British Open champion, world champion. So this is one of the titles that he really wants. So no, I think you see these guys going full out here.
Well, let's look forward to a great final. So Peter Nicol, the top seed, serving to get this final underway against Jonathan Power. Nicol won this tournament 3 times, but this is Power's first appearance in the final. And Martin, great way to start.
Tremendous rally to start off with, Alan. Just both players going to try and feel out the court here, feel out the conditions. Maybe just a little bit colder than yesterday, I think, so the ball might not be moving quite as quickly as yesterday.
Well, the heaters are on the court side, and every seat, all 417 seats inside this marquee, have been sold. It's 1-1. Peter Nicol gets on the scoreboard.
Well, we saw from that last drop shot there, great shot by Peter, but this ball's not going to bounce tonight at all, I don't think.
Let ball. Martin, in cool conditions, how does that change the way these guys can play?
Well, on this court, I was talking to Jonathan just before the match. He said that yesterday he thought that it was a little bit warmer, and that's why he was able to get a good length on the ball.
Down from Power from the back of the court, 2-1 Nicol.
So he just felt as though he was able to get the ball to the back without having to hit it too hard, and it gave him a chance to control the middle of the court and use his great racket skills. So probably the ball not moving quite as fast today is probably going to favour Peter Nicol, I think. Peter traditionally known for hitting a great length.
And then Nicol not asking for that, tries to get round Power. Lets that one slip away, 2-all. The stats between these two are fascinating, Martin. 32 matches, 16 wins apiece, 58 games each. And Jonathan has actually won 15 points more than Peter.
Is that right?
That averages half a point difference per match.
Well, that just showcases the great rivalry between these two guys. And I mean, I've been around the era that these two guys have been dominating squash, and I mean, they really have got to almost every single final over the last 6 years or so. Well, the referees had a couple of hard decisions to make early on, and I think the referees decided that she's going to try and make the player play the ball as much as possible.
So Power taking a 4-2 lead in the first game. Peter Nicol putting that ball into the tin. Nicol on home territory here in London, but Power's enjoyed his week so far. He's seriously underachieved in this event before, Martin.
Well, the Super Series has always been the last tournament of the year. It's a showcase event, it's a great exhibition event right in the middle of London here. So I think Jonathan's always treated it as a little bit of an exhibition event rather than a very serious tournament. You know, there's no ranking points on it. Basically, it's pride and money and the title that they're going for. But I think he's changed his attitude now, and he really wants this.
Well, there's a cheque for $16,000 for the winner. Just over £10,000. That is a stroke to Nicol. It's interesting, Martin, a lot of those matches between Power and Nicol have not actually been great classic encounters, because often one of them has an injury or is very tired by the time they get to the final, and so there have been a fair few 3-loves in that record.
I mean, that is true, definitely. It's but also it's about a style thing.
That's in the tin from Power.
To become this good, to be the best in the world and to dominate a sport, you can't really react to the other guy's style. You've got to impose your style of play on your opponent, and that's what both these guys are trying to do. And when they reach the final of an event, one guy that's just slightly tired gets totally dominated by the other guy. So even though it's a great rivalry,
tight ball from Power.
You know,
no let Nicol.
As I was saying, Al, even though it's a great rivalry, the 16 matches all, they haven't had too many classics yet, but just the way both these guys are playing at the moment, I think this actually could be a classic match.
Well, it's interesting, in the Commonwealth Games last year, Jonathan Power had an amazing victory over Nicol, winning 3-1 and taking the fourth game 9-love. That's a stroke to Power. And in that final, as you recall, Martin, Peter did not even get a serve in that final game. That shows how well Power was playing.
Well, that was it was played on this ASB court in Manchester, actually, and Jonathan is not a big fan of the court, but that just showed that he can adapt his game. He can actually hit through the ball, get a good length.
Nicol backhand volley into the tin. And a few mistakes early on from Peter. 7-4 Power.
It's a pride issue as well, Alan. Jonathan obviously thinks he's the best player in the world, and the Commonwealth Games gold medal was something that he dearly wanted to win. And Peter Nicol, having beaten him in 5 games in 1998 in Malaysia, he wasn't going to let this one go in Manchester.
Power not happy with that decision. Nicol blocking his stroke to the ball. But referee Dean Clayton saying that Peter had cleared it, so that's a let ball. Power leading the first game 7-4. Nicol working it deep, now short, brilliant drop. Power gets it up. Nicol drives deep, sends Power to the back left corner, and that's a stroke to Nicol.
Well, Jonathan just motioning there that there was a similar situation to the rally before, but every decision is different, Alan.
Well, whenever you see Jonathan Power, it's pure theatre, it's great squash, incredible skill. And let's see what fireworks he can come up with against Peter Nicol tonight. Nicol, the tournament favourite, the top seed, looking incredulously at the referee. Jonathan Power actually asked for a let, lunged for the ball, missed it. Well, still got the let. Smile from Peter.
Well, I think that's one of these decisions that after the referee made it, he probably knew he made the wrong decision, but he doesn't want to go back on it. So Peter Nicol still got a bit of a hill to climb in this first game.
It's Nicol trailing 5-7 here in his hometown of London.
You'll notice from the way these guys are hitting the ball that they're actually having to hit the ball with a little bit more penetration than usual to get the ball to the back. It shows that the ball is very cold tonight. It's actually quite hard at the start of a match when the ball is very cold.
It's down from Power.
The ball doesn't sit up. It's very difficult to get into a rhythm, Alan. So you're just playing point by point, which is quite difficult.
So what does that mean, Martin? You've got to hit it higher on the front wall to get the ball deeper?
Well, it depends on your style of play. Usually, I mean, both guys are actually hitting it a little bit harder at the moment. They're just hitting a more penetrating shot. As they get into the game, they'll probably lift the ball just above the cut line, the service line, and try and get a little bit tighter to the wall.
That's loose from Nicol down the middle, that ball.
Third time he's ran into my racket.
Jonathan Power saying that's the third time he's run into my racket. And still, it's only a let. So Jonathan's tonsils just warming up, Martin.
Well, he's got to warm them up for later on, I'm sure. Oh, beautiful
Nicol,
shot by
that
Nicol.
classic Peter Nicol winner. He just holds the ball, delays it, flicks it across court. Jonathan Power stranded in mid-court.
Well, that's the shot that Peter's added to his repertoire over the last couple of years. So it wasn't one of his best shots over when he first started out his career, but he's really worked on his shots. And he's just so relaxed playing that kind of shot now. And there from Jonathan as well.
Power's not bad either. Beautiful volley drop.
8-7.
So anyone's call in this first game. Power having a slight early lead. It's now 8-7 to the Canadian. The red shirt and the headband. Tight squash from both players. Flick from Power. Nicol gets it up. Loose from Power. Nicol's chasing high on the front wall. This could be one of the big early rallies. Both players now visiting corner to corner. But Power puts the post into the tin. The crowd loving this squash.
Well, that was the first big point of the match, Alan. Round about that middle point of the game where one player can break free if he's playing well.
The miss hit from the world number one. What happened there, Martin?
Well, this on the glass court, if you hit a tight ball, it really clings to this glass wall. And it's that you get a lot of rewards for that. You either get a very loose ball or else the guy just misses it totally like that.
And again, Nicol being forced to do a lot of chasing. Incredible retrieving by Nicol. And again, into the front corner. This time, Nicol plays a tight drop and sends Power on the run.
Well, it's
Nicol's path through, blocked again. Power smiles, decides not to debate things too much with the referee. Says, I couldn't have done that better myself. Both players having a smile. Jonathan's remark gets a round of applause.
well, Peter just getting the benefit of the doubt in a couple of these decisions, Alan.
What do you expect, Martin? He's a nice guy.
It seems like Jonathan's controlling the game here. He's hitting the ball very fluidly. He's very relaxed on his swing, and basically putting the ball where he wants to put it.
Steady stuff from both players. A more conservative, cautious, patient rally, but Nicol under pressure there. Power drops. Nicol incredibly digs it out the corner. The rally goes on. Another big point here, Martin.
Well, again, Jonathan controlling, but Peter with great retrieving.
Once again, Power plays a tight backhand drop. Nicol's behind him. Let ball. 9-8 Power.
Well, this is the clash of styles that we're talking about. This is Peter Nicol's doggedness and length and control against Jonathan Power's great shot-making ability. So it does seem that as though Jonathan is controlling, but Peter just keeps on getting that ball back.
He's saying, come on, Jonathan, where are you going to put it next? Because I'm going to get it back and force the error from you, as he did then.
Yep.
Well, Nicol's retrieving won him that rally. Just great movement, just Incredible the way he gets that racket under the ball from a seemingly impossible position.
Well, these rallies that Peter's winning from a rally that Jonathan Power is controlling.
Stroke to Power, thank you very much. Loose ball from Nicol. The ball bouncing on the tee. And Power relieved, happy to get the decision in his favour.
Well, as I was saying, Alan, these rallies that Peter is winning, it's actually more of a mental thing rather than putting the point on the board. He's just showing Jonathan that he really wants to win today. And even though beautiful Boston Power though.
Nicol unable to respond. And Power just firing in a very tight boast. Great shot, Martin.
Absolutely. Peter was left stranded.
Pace stepping up now. 2/3 of the way through this opening game. Great touch from Nicol, backhand volley drop, and Power says I got the ball, but referee Dean Clayton says no let. And referee Dean Clayton getting a round of applause for the no let.
Oh, that's a popular explanation actually.
And Power saying I didn't ask for a let, I played the ball and I played a winner. I think we heard something though, Martin. Possibly something in French. Jonathan, of course, now living in Montreal, French-speaking Quebec. So Power now 12-10 ahead, first game.
Well, we're getting to that crunch time, Alan.
Well, Nicol has to respond here.
Absolutely. There's a big difference between 11-12 and 13-10.
Power
beautiful
looking solid,
shot.
Forehand volley, too tight. 13-10 Power.
Well, this is an uphill battle for Peter here.
Nicol stretches, Power flicks. Goes short, Nicol cross court. Power straight, Nicol straight. Let ball. Power looking to volley. Sents Nicol just behind his racket arm and stopped to play a let. Stopped and gets the let. Well, Martin, you played Peter earlier in the week, took him to 5. All 3 of his group matches were 5. Tough battle with Linku as well. That must have taken its toll, and there's Power. Game ball.
Well, it's hard. It's very difficult to dig back points. If the other guy gets a lead by a couple of points near the end of a game, well, these guys don't give away points easily, so it's tremendously difficult to peg back a few point lead.
Loose from Power. Let ball as the ball flies across mid-court. Nicol may be thinking that deserves something else. Power serving from the left for the game. Very patient squash. Nicol drops. Power down the middle. Power chases. Nicol a tight volley. It's up. Incredible pickup by Power. Nicol boasts. Off the back wall by Power. Nicol goes for the nick. Power gets it back. Nicol goes for another one.
What a great rally.
Power off the back wall. This is great stuff. Nicol drops. Deserved, prolonged applause. A fantastic rally.
I think Peter felt he won that last rally about 5 times.
Power still on game ball, 14-11. Peter's got to do it all over again 3 times. Power sends him deep. Loose drop from Nicol, but he
No,
hoists
that's
it
out.
out of court. First game to Jonathan Power. Jonathan Power in the red shirt, serving, leading 1-0. Martin Heath. Peter Nicol looking a little bit tired in that first game.
Well, as you were saying in the first game, Alan, he had 3 hard 5-setters in his group matches, which is pretty difficult. You don't normally go through a normal tournament playing the top 8 guys in the world 5 days in a row, and obviously to go through those matches, you know, with a little bit of ease, like Jonathan Power has.
In the tin from Power.
You know, it's definitely going to help. It's definitely going to show later on in the week. And I thought Peter was just a little bit ragged at the end of that game there. This is going to be a tough game for him, very tough physically.
So what you're saying, Martin, the sensible thing would have been to let you win on that third night.
Well, it probably would have helped my lottery funding back in Scotland for next year.
Well, Peter had already qualified. But you took him to 5, Power in the floor again.
Well, I think pride prevents Peter from giving any match up, Alan.
Yeah.
That's why he's number 1.
Well, it was interesting. The first 2 matches, Peter was 2-love up, playing immaculate squash, but each time against Lee Beechell and Thierry Linku, those matches went to 5 games.
Yeah, maybe just a lapse of concentration. And on this court, if you come off the pace just slightly, if you let the other guy control the middle of the court, then you know, it's so dead that it's the ball's just going to be dead before you're even anywhere near it. So you've really got to be concentrating constantly.
And then Nicol, shoulders slumped, rooted to the tee as Power drove that ball down the forehand line.
Well,
Nicol's backhand.
That's a tactic that we haven't seen Jonathan use against Peter for quite some time. Just that hold in the forehand and then flick it right down the line onto Peter's backhand.
Which drops, goes for the nick. Rally goes on.
Power used to win almost whole matches from that one shot. That's
Nicol
a great
saying,
shot from Peter there.
and that shot had nothing on it, Martin.
Well, that's exactly what Power normally does to Peter, but the tables were turned there.
Great touch. And there's the slice, but Power stretches across. The trading drops, an up and under from Nicol. He goes short again, and that's in the tin. Great rally.
Well, you see from Peter's drops and counter drops that he's not actually going for the nick. He's not going purely to win the point. He's going to get it very tight to the wall. And even if his opponent gets the ball back, he wants to make him work. He tries to take the legs out of you before he hits the winner. If he can make you run 2 more lengths of the court before hitting a winner, he's going to do it.
Nicol serves 4-1 ahead, second game. Taking the attack back to Jonathan Power. Another Nicol lob, Power volleys. Nicol working the ball high on the front wall. Wanting to send Power deep. Doesn't want to let Power get in front of him. That's off the back wall. That's in the tin.
Well, you're absolutely right, Alan. Peter was starting to hit the ball just a little bit higher on the front wall, getting the ball to the back of the court. And when he hits a great length like that, and he dominates the middle of the court so well, his volleys are so good, like there.
He's got one of the best straight volleys in the game.
Absolutely, so consistent.
Just takes it off the side wall, as there. Well, he had that purple patch at the start of the match against Thierry Linku. Just unbelievable squash, but just when we thought he was going to win 3-love in half an hour, Linku came back and took him to 5. An incredibly brutal encounter.
Well, Peter takes a philosophy with his game that if it feels hard on himself, then it's going to be twice as hard as on his opponent. So he puts a lot of pressure on the game.
Power no let. Smile from Nicol.
5-2.
Peter knows that if he's breathing hard and his legs are sore, then he knows that his opponent is going to be feeling it just as much, if not more.
And that's a tired boast into the tin.
3-5.
Wanting to drag Jonathan Power up to the front of the court.
Well, that was quite a big point there, Alan, actually. I mean, Peter started off this game really quite well, hitting a great length.
Loose ball from Nicol.
His body language was looking a lot more positive at the start of this game than it was at the end of the first game. So he wants to get a good lead, establish a great rhythm here.
Nicol going straight off the serve. Let ball.
He's gonna play any ball. I played it really early. He was on it. I hit him. With my swing, it's a natural ledge.
Power.
Perfect swing.
Yes, set. 3-5.
Well, the referee just given a reminder to both players about the minor interference rule, and that is they want play to be continuous. And if there's a slight distraction, a slight interference, then the guy's got to play the ball.
Did you hear what Peter said?
No.
He said, is he going to play any ball in that back corner?
Well, Power's a great mover, but he doesn't turn his hips quite as well as some of the other guys.
That's a tighter post, but Power drops. Nicol hits a big cross court. Digs out a deep one. This looks like being a big rally. Nicol striding forward onto the tee. Power moving around him. Both players wanting to dominate that mid-court.
Beautiful shot.
Brilliant shot.
You'll notice when Peter dominates a rally like he did there, he's hardly moving away from the tee. He's not moving further back than the service boxes, just concentrating and taking everything round about the middle of the court.
Nicol having a purple patch. Let ball. So let's see if Nicol can maintain this lead through the second game. I think the fans here in this full house marquee would love to see this go to 5, Martin.
Well, absolutely. I'm sure they have their favourites, but I'm sure they also want to see a great match.
That Power volleys. Nicol tries to come through by the front of the service box. Another let.
Well, when Peter's dominating like this, he's taking everything so early. You've got to find a way to actually get the ball past him, playing it tight to the side wall. You've got to move him off that tee, make him doubly tired.
Power's drop in the tin.
8-3.
So Nicol moving 8-3 ahead in this second game, but trailing by 1 game to love. Power starting strongly, but Nicol dominating the early phase of this second game. Tight ball from Power, just slicing that ball into the sideball, giving Nicol nothing to hit.
Well, that's one of his trademark shots, Alan. He comes round that ball so much, you can actually hear it off his strings as he carves round it. Beautiful shot. There's not many players can play a shot like that.
Nicol going
Beautiful
side to
shot.
side. Great rally. In it goes straight, and Power nowhere near it. Great rally. Nicol great retrieving, and Nicol a brilliant finish. Once again, that side-to-side slice from Nicol. Great rally.
Well, this is very impressive from Peter. Looking a bit jaded at the end of the first game, and he's come out, he's had a great length, great width. He's been so positive with his shots.
And he had a quiet word with Jonathan as he walked back to the service box. I wonder what he said, Martin. Power was querying whether one of Nicol's shots was up in that last rally. Peter probably telling him they were all good.
Well, this is when it becomes a mental battle, Alan, rather than just how good player they are.
Power sent deep. Nicol scrapes that one off the side wall. Power again taking the pace off the ball in mid-air, going short. Nicol lobs, Power volleys. Power lobs this time. We don't see that too often. Great pickup by Power, but not that time. Wonderful rally. Nicol is playing some great squash.
Well, Peter's not giving Jonathan any angles to hit, to use his creativity here. He's just keeping everything tight to the wall. He's counter dropping, keeping it tight, and Jonathan's just having to retrieve. He's not getting to use. Well,
Nicol giving up on that one, misread it probably. Power not the greatest shot he's played this week.
Well,
He'll
that was
be
actually,
happy with that.
That situation was actually the antithesis of what was just explaining there. Peter gave Jonathan a boast there, gave him the angle.
And then Nicol drives into the tin.
And he's letting him back in this game, Alan.
6-10.
Well, he gave up on that last shot, and then in frustration hit that service return straight into the tin. He's not ready
6-10.
to receive. Power having a little stretch. Getting a few wolf whistles from the crowd. Great touch.
Beautiful
from
drop
Power.
shot.
In it goes. Nicol giving up on that one. Peter having a tired spell here, Martin.
Well, he put in a lot of effort, a lot of physical and mental effort, a lot of concentration to get 10-5 up. And it's obviously showing now.
He's chasing here. He read it well, covered the ball, but drilled that into the tin. Power's moving back.
Well, this is crucial for Peter here. He can't afford to let this game go. It's a beautiful
Power
drop shot.
sensing he is in the ascendancy, working Nicol into the front left corner straight away. But Nicol digging deep into those reserves of energy. Nicol goes straight. Power lobs. Tables turning throughout this game and throughout this rally.
Oh, that's a great volley.
Back to 1 point.
9-10.
That was like clay pigeon shooting there, Alan. He just plucked it out of the air. Fantastic shot.
Well, let's see if Nicol can respond.
Absolutely
Great return
beautiful
off
volley.
the serve. He's
Counter
going
drop.
short. That's loose from Power. Stroke to Nicol.
Well,
And
Peter's looking a bit ragged here. That was a great rally from Peter, but he did go from the winner from the serve. Maybe a little bit of desperation.
There were two tight shots. He's Power not happy. He said that's as loose as you can get, and I think you might agree with that, Martin. Peter off balance as he played the volley. He's saying to Jonathan, how much more space do you want?
You want to see the front flip, the old front flip?
Great stuff from Jonathan. I wish he was up here with us, Martin.
Well, he's going to demonstrate his gymnastic routine for us, I think.
He said, do you want the back flip or the forward flip? Off Nicol's left shoulder.
Well, that was quite crucial, actually. That little consultation there bought Peter a bit of time.
Yes. And they're Power chasing. And stroke to Power.
Well,
A
the
little bit
referee-
scrappy in that front corner.
The referee taking a couple of seconds to make his decision, and Jonathan's heart skipped a beat there.
That's down from Power.
12-10.
So Nicol, a 2-point gap,
Well,
12-10.
A crucial point here for both players, especially for Peter Nicol. If he goes 2 love down, it's going to be so difficult to come by.
Great stretch from Nicol, that backhand volley. Power goes short, Nicol drops. Power flicks past him. Great stretch from Nicol.
Great
Lobs
squash.
again.
Great squash, Alan.
Incredible running, incredible moving. Nicol digging everything out. Power slices it short. There's the cross-court flick. Nicol sent deep.
This rally has everything. This is great score.
Nicol straight, Power off the back wall. Nicol slice cross-court. That's loose. Amazing rally.
Well, there's just constant pressure from both players here. This is tremendous. Best rally of the match so far, Alan.
Flick cross-court. Power goes short. Nicol lobs. Not a great one. He's chasing again. Power slice drop. Tight from Nicol. Unbelievable pickups from both players.
Well, this is one of the best rallies I've seen in a long time, Alan.
Nicol sends him deep again.
That's a shocker. Absolute shocker.
Dean Clayton telling Power he made no effort to get to the ball. He said you wrapped your arm around your opponent.
Well, what a ridiculous decision to give there at one of the best rallies of the whole tournament.
Now the referee trying to justify his decision.
In principle, the referee is actually right. He's interpreting the rule book by the word. But in that particular situation, Jonathan couldn't play the ball. It probably was a stroke, actually, and the referee decided to give him a no-let. Just a ridiculous decision on a crucial point. A crucial rally, a crucial turning point in the match. Let's hope Power can concentrate and get back in this.
13-10 Nicol. It's a shame that the best rally of the match ended in such fashion.
Well,
but
Power's
very relieved, Peter Nicol.
Well, Power's a very effervescent and emotional player.
Let ball.
Well,
Nicol thinking, hang on, that should have been a stroke. Was that a sympathy let?
Two wrongs don't make a right, Alan.
It was tight.
Peter Nicol saying that was tight. So both players not too happy with the decisions, but Jonathan Power's debate with the referee slightly longer and slightly more dramatic than Peter's. Down from Power, game ball, Nicol. Power looking to flick that ball cross-court into the nick, catching the tin.
I think Power's really struggling to keep his composure here. He's burning up inside.
Nicol lobs, Power, straight volley, Nicol cross-court, high. Straight from Nicol. Power goes short, Nicol lobs, Power feathers it into that front right corner. An amazing stretch from Nicol. Power on his knees, he gets up, lobs again. Nicol goes for the nick, Power lobs, Nicol stretches, that's loose, Power in the floor. And that mistake gives the second game to Peter Nicol. One game all here in London. Peter Nicol serves to start this third game, one game all. A great recovery by Nicol in that second game. But Martin, Jonathan Power was not happy with that decision from Dean Clayton, and I think one more controversial decision and I'm sure we'll see the Power fireworks.
Well, absolutely. As I was saying in the last game, he's an incredibly effervescent and emotional character, and really he's got to let it out. He's got to let his emotion out.
One love, Nicol. Great rally.
If he bottles it up inside, it's just going to get to him. I think this is quite a strange situation for Power, because he really has controlled probably about 7/8 of the match so far, and we find we're at a parity in the scoreline.
And their Power going into Nicol's back. Martin, I think you said the other day, at this level, you've got to get inside Jonathan's head.
Absolutely.
And I think Peter's doing that with the help of the referee.
That is exactly how you beat him. He's one of the most fluid players. He's got great racket skills. He's got incredibly fast feet, fast hands. When Jonathan's playing well, there's not a lot you can do. But as you said, that's one of the ways that you can get to him. Just keep showing him you're going to get the ball back. Get inside his head.
Power lobs, Nicol straight. Wants to move him through that big diagonal as often as he can this evening. Just take Jonathan's legs, but he's moving well. He got through there. Wide, another no-let. There we see it, Martin.
Well, that was actually a decision that I agree with. That was minimal interference.
There is interference, and I can't clear the ball. I can only get there.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Power shakes his head.
Well, that's one situation where the referee is interpreting the rule correctly. He got it wrong in the last game, so Jonathan should understand that that's the way it's going to be played now. He's got to play the ball.
Well, he got through. He showed that he could play the ball. And the referee telling him he's got to play it. Power goes short, Nicol chasing. Nicol.
Oh, great shot.
Nicol firing it in.
He's got the bit between his teeth now. He's got given a very lucky decision in the last game. He squeezed it, and now he's going to be difficult to beat.
Let ball. Power hitting that ball down the middle of the court. He'll be happy with that one, I suspect, Martin.
Well, is that minor interference?
Well, not the return you coached to the juniors.
Well, Jonathan being sensible here, just trying to get his length and width. Pressure Peter at the back of the court.
See, you understand? I can't get behind that.
Well, that is a let.
Power asked for a let.
I can't play the ball down the wall.
He hasn't made a decision yet, Martin.
Come on, referee. Every situation is different. That is a let this time.
Let ball this time. And Dean Clayton doing more talking than we are, Martin, telling Power he's got to make every effort to get to the ball. I think he should have made the decision earlier. But he's obviously trying to make sure Jonathan makes every effort to play the ball. Loose from Power. Nicol tries to tighten it up, straighten it up.
Well, you can just see in Peter's body language, you see in the grimace on his face.
And there Nicol pushes past Power. No let to Nicol.
It's a good decision.
Crowd groan.
It's a good decision.
Have I tried to get to every other ball? Have I gone round him every time I possibly can to hit the ball?
Well, it looks like this game is going to turn into a technical battle here.
Well, it's whoever gets the rule book on their side, Martin. It's crucial.
Absolutely.
That time, Nicol, I think he was a little bit slow to react. Jonathan stood his ground, and by the time Peter Nicol leant on Jonathan, the ball was in the back corner. So you can see why the referee made that decision.
No let again.
He played the ball. And the crowd saying, get on with it. Power gets another no let. The referee is dominating this third game.
Well, to
nearly
be honest
every rally settled by a decision.
Well, other than the decision in at the end of the second game to give Power a no let, these three decisions have actually been very good. They're forcing the player to play the ball. If they open the court up and play a loose shot, then they've got to pay the consequences. They've got to go and get the ball.
Well, you would have thought that Power would have played that, having had a couple of no lets.
Well, maybe he's a slow learner, Alan.
And then Nicol misses the ball. Power forehand drop winner.
3-4.
Well, after the rules conference, let's hope we see the start of a squash match.
Absolutely, that's my hope as well. I hope both players can just concentrate on playing their game.
Power, cross-court flick. Nicol deep in the back corner, hacks it out. Tight boast, Power's up there. Nicol hoists it cross-court. sent from front right to back left. That ball just staying in. Great turn in the back corner by Nicol. That's loose from Power on the tee. Stroke to Nicol. Another rally decided by the referee's call. So Nicol, third game, leading 5-3. One game all.
Well, the longer these rallies go on, the more I feel it's going to favour Peter Nicol. Jonathan favours the very fast, quick rallies where he can use his quick hands and quick feet. These slow rallies up and down the wall, going back and forward from the back of the court to the tee, is really going to take it out with Jonathan Power's legs.
Nicol chasing there. Power, great length. One corner, then the other. He's sending deep twice, then short, deep again. Nicol off the back wall, but he couldn't make contact. Well, Nicol visited 3 of the 4 corners there, Martin.
Well, I'm sure he'll see the 4th one in this rally.
Nicol lobs. Power, straight volley short. Nicol hoists it again.
Well, this really is a turning point in the whole match, actually. This is crucial for both players. They're both trying to impress upon each other their own style of play.
Power drops, Nicol lobs. Power volley. Nicol goes round him, plays the ball. They know they've got to play everything. Nicol goes round. There's contact. Power holds the ball. Contact again. Nicol asks, and is still waiting for a decision.
Come on, referee.
We need a decision. It looks like a no let.
Oh, referee, come on.
So the world number 1 is told no let. The man who can get to every corner, one of the fittest guys on the planet, he's told
well,
no let.
That is a simple let decision there. He did not wrap his arm intentionally around Jonathan Power.
That's why it's round him. The body's trying to go straight to the ball.
So Peter Nicol getting a round of applause from the audience with his explanation. But the call stays the same, no let. This is very frustrating for both players, the crowd.
Well, I think that's 1-all for rubbish decisions for both players, I think. Well,
So
that is
Power.
actually, I think this is actually a crucial time in the match, Alan. Peter Nicol was just getting into the match there. He was playing great length, great width, keeping the rallies going, taking the legs out of Jonathan Power, and forcing Power to concentrate very hard on his tactical play, which he doesn't like to do.
Tight length from Nicol. Power hits the side wall, doesn't hit the ball. 6-5 Nicol. One of those rare occasions in this third game where a rally has been decided by a winning shot. Power goes through, there's contact, but he goes through, plays the ball, hits it in the floor, looks at the referee, wants to blame someone. 7-5 Nicol.
Well, Peter
I think we
Nicol,
might see the shoulders coming into play here, Martin.
shoulders, hips, elbows, feet, anything that works, Alan.
Great stuff. Nicol chasing, great reflexes from both players. That's loose from Nicol.
It's either a stroke or a no let at the moment, Alan.
Nicol goes short. Power runs through, runs round. Nicol, big stretch, a big grunt as he hits the ball, follows up with a lob. Power works him deep again. Big rally this one, an important point. Both players showing their squash brains and their great movement. Power goes through, asks for a let, and this time gets it. Nicol looks at the referee. He's sure.
6-7.
Well, I think from Jonathan's body language here, he's looking just a little bit tired. Would you not say the last couple of rallies?
Well, they've been tough rallies. Both players moving from corner to corner. Nicol goes round, goes short. Lobs it high.
Well, Jonathan's been forced to play more of an aerobic game here. He likes it very quickly
That
to use his
is an
strength.
amazing shot by Power, but there you see Nicol's brilliant retrieving capabilities, but that was a loose volley into the tin.
A crucial point there.
7-4.
So midway through this third game, it's 1 game all, 7 all in the third. Tough one to call. Nicol winner. Power asks another no-let.
And out. 8-7.
So they're trading points here, Martin. That's down 9-7. Nicol. Power's gone off the boil.
Absolutely.
9-7.
Peter's shown him that if he's going to win this, he's going to have to work incredibly hard for it. And is he up for it? I don't know.
Well, in Power's mind, he's got to take on the world #1 and the referee. And the court. And the crowd. And the weather.
Well, in his mind, he thinks he's the best player in the world and he's playing well. So I think it's probably what he's going to concentrate on. But Peter Nicol is obviously the most formidable competitor on the PSA Tour, and he's shown Jonathan that he's not going to let anything go easily. It really is a mental battle here.
Well, this is a fluid rally, both players stroking the ball around the court. Very patient build-up, waiting for the loose ball.
That's a
Great
beautiful
shot
volley,
from
picked
Power.
off the wall from Power. This is a great rally again.
Let's see what Power does. He flicks it cross court. Nicol's
is
deep,
hard work.
now back on the tee quickly.
Great length again.
Lob from Nicol. Power cross court, sends him deep again. Power flicks. Nicol's behind it in a flash.
Well, Power just deciding to play a length game here. Take the legs out of Peter Nicol.
Longest rally of the match. Power steps in front, volleys, but Nicol gets to the ball, stretches.
Beautiful
Incredible
shot.
pickup. Nicol stranded mid-court.
That was such an important rally for Jonathan Power. Instead of using his racket skills to play the ball to the front of the court.
But then Power follows that devastating length with a forehand drop into the tin.
Well,
Careless mistake, Martin,
just
and
careless,
costly.
yeah. He showed Peter in that last rally that he was up for it. He was concentrating, he was committed to the match. And then that last one, he just clips the top of the tin. That's squash, though.
Handout 10-8. Nicol just checking the score. Serving from the right. So a 2-point gap. Great pickup from Power as Nicol works it short from deep in the court. Power volleys deep.
Well,
Nicol
I mean,
chases again.
The whole of the match is hinging on these few rallies here. Both players playing a bit of cat and mouse here, not giving any loose balls. Great length from Peter.
11-8 Nicol.
These players are looking so ragged now. Maybe not to you, but I know what it's like on there. These guys are feeling it. They're breathing hard.
Well, there you could see Nicol struggling to cover that shot from Power.
If you took their heart rate here, it probably would not be lower than about 180. These guys are working so hard.
Squash, the ultimate gladiatorial combat. Two players locked in this glass box. Nicol
Great
chasing.
retrieving.
1 point between these two players. Nicol leading 11-10. But Power needing to string some points together.
Well, Alan, I don't think this is not the prettiest squash we've seen all week from both players, but this is tough.
And next week they've got to get on a plane, go to Qatar and do it all again. Let ball. Nicol explaining there was minimal contact. Power looks across and smiles.
Well, that just shows that both players are a little bit rooted to this spot here.
Power slips, stretches, gets back on his feet.
Well, this is such a battle of concentration. Battle of concentration, battle of wills. Careless shot from Jonathan Power there again, a crucial point.
12-10.
He was trying to put some slice on that ball, but just didn't get enough contact with the strings. Put the ball down. Nicol 12-10 ahead.
Well, Peter getting a little bit of support from his home crowd here in London.
Power's shot goes into mid-court, stroke to Nicol.
Well, as we were saying before, in these situations, if you can play it and you don't, then it's a no-let. If you can't play it, then it's going to be a stroke.
Well, this rivalry that's dominated this era of squash between Nicol and Power. Another chapter unfolding on court here in London. Whoever wins this goes ahead in their personal head-to-head duel, but that's Nicol driving into the tin.
Well,
They've
he had the
played
angle.
each other 32 times, 16 wins each, and it's anybody's here tonight. Or maybe that mistake, Martin, showing how tired Nicol must be.
Well, I was going to say he had the angle and he had the space, but just clipped the top of the tin. Obviously, just a little bit tired. You're right.
But moving well.
Oh,
Power
I think the ball just clipped the top of the tin. The
puts
crowd.
in a backhand volley, but that's down. That takes Nicol.
Well, the referee didn't see that one.
Ball. And Nicol saying, "Are you gonna call it? Can you see it?" Shakes his head. Referee Dean Clayton just confirming what the two players know. That ball was down.
14-11.
Nicol serving to go 2-1 ahead.
Well, I gotta admit, I'm surprised that Peter Nicol is in this position here. Jonathan Power playing so well yesterday, dominating the first couple of games.
Nothing on it, Martin.
Well, he's tried a couple before and clipped the top of the tin, but is it too late?
But Nicol 3 points clear. Let's see if he tries to finish this quickly. Great length from Nicol. Power flicks, Nicol volleys. Power sent deep. Flicks it off the back wall. Nicol cross court. Gets round Power, drives it deep.
This is tense.
Off the side wall, down the middle. Let ball. Power can't believe it. Nicol's shot coming down the middle of the court. Power stops and gets only a let.
Well, the referee seeing grey where previously he'd only been seen black and white.
Well, Power usually provides every colour in the rainbow. But he's probably in a black mood at the moment, Martin.
Well, I think both players are actually enjoying this. This is a great test, a great challenge.
Power
for
goes
both of
deep.
them.
Nicol leaves it. He thought he might have volleyed. He can afford to be patient. He's on game ball. It's up to Power now to produce something special.
Well, Power's looking the one with that's got the ascendancy here, but tight drop.
Was that in? Was that out? Incredible, the crowd.
I think the ball
gasping.
just stayed in there.
Nicol at
This is a
full
great
stretch.
rally.
Power stretches. Flick from Nicol. This is the ultimate combat in squash between Power and Nicol. This is a truly brutal battle.
Great rally.
Incredible squash.
Fantastic
Look at
rally.
Nicol. Doesn't look as though Nicol is appealing.
Well, Power forming a big space in the middle of the court there, but it was his shot. He was entitled to take that space. And he hit a great shot from it as well.
We couldn't hear the score. Is that 13-14?
13-14, yeah. Huge points. Oh, Jonathan! Oh.
Power volleys a simple ball into the tin. Nicol leads 2-1. Well, the fourth game begins with Power getting a conduct warning for striking the back wall with his racket in frustration. At the end of that third game, Peter Nicol leading 2-1. They're just warming up the ball, and they've certainly warmed up the crowd here tonight, Martin. Incredible squash.
Absolutely. Both players almost getting a standing ovation when they came on court for this fourth game, and to turn the sublime into the ridiculous, the referee gives Power a warning for hitting his racket against the wall. I think he's wanting too much of a presence in this match.
Well, by Power's standards, that was a pretty gentle incident. Totally understandable. But Nicol leads 2-1 here in his hometown of London. Stroke to Power. 1-love. Loose from Nicol. Let ball. Power can't believe it.
Well, that's fair enough. That's a good decision. Could have played that ball.
Very high lob from Nicol. Power thought it was through the lights. And Power puts it in the tin. Referee says play let. Not sure.
Well, I wonder if we can get an action replay there. I thought it might just have sneaked in there, Alan.
Nicol not happy. Power hitting the tin at the end of that rally, but let ball, says referee Dean Clayton. And that one was out for Nicol. Power saying, did you see that one? That's an incredible shot from Nicol. Good pick up from Power, but Nicol thrashing that ball across court.
Peter doesn't like that front wall very much. Well, that's that one situation you saw there. That's the area that Power has got to attack.
Unbelievable.
This is great squash.
Power drives, Nicol's behind him, Nicol stops, only gets a let. Well, Dean Clayton wants them to play everything, Martin.
Well, again, I actually agree with the referee. I thought that was a good decision. Peter Nicol was a little bit off balance, didn't quite see the ball until right at the end there. Wasn't a great shot from Jonathan, but I think the right decision was made.
Well, that was a tough rally, not as long as some of those in the third, but both players being forced to move off the middle.
Well, I'm a little bit amazed here. Both players have come out so fresh here. That's a great shot from
Incredible
Power.
touch from Power. He's just got amazing racket skills, Martin.
Well, he's deadly in that front area. That's really where he wants to. He creates all his opportunities from that area. That's where he hits all his winners.
Nicol volleys deep. Power chases. That is out.
Well, Jonathan not happy that he's having to play these balls in front of the court. He's been thrown totally off balance, but that's the game. If you open the court up, you play a loose ball, then you have to retrieve.
And the players waiting for that ball to come back. Lost somewhere in this Broadgate marquee. The photographers joining in the hunt.
I think someone might be keeping that one for a souvenir. Oh, maybe not.
Fritz Borscher, the photographer, hands it to Andy Bunting of Prince, who hits the wall, and it's finally hurled back in by a spectator. 2-all, 3-2. Thank you, Jill. Nicol leading 3-2 and by 2-1.
Oh, this ball's so dead here. Well, that ball really sponging into the glass wall, the very hard glass wall. It's not moving off there at all.
And Nicol not getting anywhere near that one.
3-all.
Well, I see these guys are having to hit the ball with such penetration to get to the back of the court.
And Nicol in the floor. Tired looking volley, Martin.
Well, it was, Alan. He's not looking so tired, really, but
4-3.
as I said, I'm quite surprised at how fresh they've come out in this fourth game.
Both players working it deep. Power goes short. Nicol drop shot in the tin.
Well, 2 tins in a row, Alan. It's not often that we see that from Peter Nicol. Well, Jonathan Power having a couple of little gifts here, let him back in this match.
Probably the majority of the crowd favouring Peter Nicol, but I'm sure they'd love to see it go to 5.
Absolutely. This is a beautiful drop shot.
And there, Power in immaculate form.
Well, he just took that off the wall. What a brilliant shot.
6-3 Power, 4th game. In the middle, Nicol drives. And this time, Power gets the let.
Well, this is just a lottery.
Well, after a
They're just-
catalogue of no lets. And Nicol asking for a reminder.
There's what, sorry? There was no contact.
And Nicol drove that ball into the back right corner.
Well, what you meant to do, you play a great rally, you get a loose ball, you hit a great shot, and it's still a let. Play the point again.
That was a puzzle. And that's out from Peter Nicol.
7-3.
Well, we hear
Power, 4-point lead.
Neil Harvey, Peter Nicol's coach, just spurring Peter on there.
5-point lead.
8-3.
Well, this is a big lead to have in the fourth game, Alan. Peter Nicol really needs to concentrate here to get back in this.
He's put 2 volleys in the tin. He's put a drop in the tin. And then
Well,
when he
if
did
you-
win a rally, Power got a let.
Well, exactly. If you're going to go 8-3 down, you've got to make sure that you're going to use these rallies to take the legs out of your opponent. And he's given Power, he hasn't taken anything out of Power in these rallies. They're cheap points. Beautiful shot from Peter.
Incredible shot from Nicol. He goes for the nick and gets it.
Timeout. 4-8.
Well, 2 exquisite shots from Peter. Beautiful drop shot and a great forehand kill. Well, Power playing great length here.
Loose from
Where's the
Nicol.
ball? Where's his racket? Oh my God, he caught you there!
Power.
Holy jeez!
Power seeking divine inspiration.
I didn't say anything offensive! I didn't say
Jesus doesn't count. Well,
jeez!
Well, we're getting religion in here as well. Dean Clayton, squash referee and lay preacher, laying down the law.
Heard of bracket preparation, but you know, he's looking for my face.
Peter Nicol, expert in the rules, querying that decision.
well, at the end of the day, no matter what discussion you have, that was still a stroke to Jonathan Power. He created the opportunity and he couldn't play the ball.
So maybe that divine figure that Jonathan was talking about was on Peter's side at the end of that rally. Power in short, Nicol lobs. Power just takes the pace off that length, flicks it cross court, and Nicol goes the wrong way.
9-4.
Well, at this stage in a tough match, it's not so much your legs will be getting very, very tired, your lungs will be tired, but you also get incredibly dizzy when you're working this hard. You lose your
Nicol
concentration.
giving up on that one, Martin. Could be giving up on this game.
Well, I think probably he is actually. I think that he's going to save a little bit of energy for the fifth game. We'll probably see him putting a few short balls in, trying to play a few winners, a couple of cheap points.
And Power plays it, Nicol leaves it. Power obviously thinking, well, if I don't play that, I might get a no-let, so
Absolutely.
I better play the ball, and Nicol decides not to chase it. That's tight from Power. You're right, he's getting good length, hitting the ball smoothly. Nicol puts it in the tin. There's a one-way pattern here, Martin, and it's all in Power's favor. 12-4.
Well, Peter will probably he's totally out of this game now. He's not going to get back. He might just use these rallies
Nicol
just
in
to
the
take the
tin.
legs out of Power a little bit. Just make him work for a couple of points.
So Power a huge lead in this fourth game. And Nicol giving up on that one. Power on game ball.
14-4, game ball.
Well, we've got what we wanted, Alan. A fifth game, final of the Super Series between the Jonathan Power, world number 2 at the moment, world number 1 Peter Nicol. It's exactly what we wanted.
The trading drops and Power volleys. Nicol stops in mid-court. That's 2 games all. So the fifth game, Jonathan Power in the red shirt serving. 2 games all. Classic encounter here in the Broadgate Arena in London. Martin Heath, you've played these 2 players in big matches all over the world. Who's your money on for the fifth?
Well,
There was absolutely no way I couldn't have hit that ball. Could have hit that
Let's
ball.
go back to that question.
that is a simple stroke.
Why is there a delay?
What?
Nicol gets a no-let.
Oh my God, this is getting farcical.
That is incredible. Peter Nicol, one of the fairest players in the history of the game, is right behind Jonathan Power.
Well, hopefully we'll see a replay of that. That is just a farcical decision. Simple
Right
stroke.
behind him. There's stunned expressions
The referee is rewriting the rule book here.
on
I think.
every face. People are shaking their heads. Young Clayton, not the most popular man in this marquee at the moment, Martin. As I was saying, Martin, you've played these two guys in big matches all over the world.
Yeah.
What happens now?
You've just got to fight. I mean, really, what happens now is
Power in the tin.
it's a mixture of what you've done leading up to this point. You want to take the legs out your opponent, but ultimately, I mean, it really is point for point. You've got to play every point as it comes. You can't expect anything.
Nicol drops Power's knee in Nicol's thigh on the way through. Power gets a no-let.
2-1.
So that's one each in the fifth game. Decision-wise, Nicol leads 2 points to 1. 2 games all.
I mean, it really does come down to a battle of wills here. Who wants this the most? Jonathan Power was looking so tired in the third game. Peter Nicol was looking ragged in the fourth game. Just let it go in the end. So it really does come down to concentration, the battle of wills, real mental strength here. That's a great shot.
Incredible pickup by Nicol, side to side. Power's behind him. Nicol just got a no-let. Power gets a stroke.
Well, a very similar situation as you see.
Explain that one. Power goes deep.
In matches like this, at the end of a tournament, it also comes down to the professionalism of the player. They've really got to be so prepared. If you don't eat properly before this kind of match, you're not using the proper electrolyte drinks, getting carbohydrate drinks between the games, then you're not going to have any energy at the end of this kind of match. So it really does come down to the preparation, the professionalism of the athlete.
And Nicol looking tired. He puts that ball out.
4-2.
4-2 Power. A little flick from Jonathan Power. Nicol reads it. Power drives it deep.
Well, this is great squash from Jonathan Power here.
Drives it back right corner. Takes it off the wall.
He's just throwing Peter Nicol all over the court at the moment. Beautiful drop shot.
Good lob from Nicol. Nicol cross courts. Power twists it.
From Power. This is a great rally.
And Power's ghost in the tin.
Well, Jonathan Power had Peter Nicol in front of him, moving forward, and he still decided to play a boast. That had to be inch perfect to win then.
3-4. That's what she said. I heard 3 all.
4-4.
No, it's a let. I stopped. You don't think I can turn the sword? No.
Power comes out for a chat.
Don't even dare. I stopped the ball because I heard 3 all. Just because I can't understand the accent doesn't mean I should be penalized for point.
Nicol's smiling. Nicol's having a breather.
I heard 3 all, 3 goal.
Yeah, thank you, referee.
Went to receive the serve.
Well, that would have been ridiculous if he didn't play a let there.
Let ball.
Yes, set. 3-4.
Well, drama all the way through this final, Martin.
You don't need to lose that kind of nervous energy wondering whether you're going to get no-letted when you just want to know the score.
And Jonathan doing more talking than the pair of us put together.
Well, not you, Alan, no. Well, Jonathan Power's come out here. He's looking very fresh. He's playing great squash.
Brilliant volley by Nicol and a huge pickup by Power. And again, Nicol goes for the nick. Power gets it up. What an amazing
This is incredible.
rally.
What a game.
And Power flicks it deep. He is moving so well for the fifth game. It's more than an hour and a half long. And both players producing incredible squash. Giving everything.
Oh, what a length. I think by this time both players will understand. They'll know that they're in a classic match. and that'll help them. That'll make them run even longer.
And then Nicol playing that ball off his toes. Two tough competitors. Nicol just looks across at his opponent.
Well, even at
do you want some more of that?
Even at this stage, these guys are still moving well to the front of the court. They can't give anything loose at all. These guys are just running on adrenaline now.
Nicol flicks that drop. Power pushes it cross court. Nicol going from side to side. Gets under the ball, flicks it, goes short with a volley. It's in the nick. Power, no let.
Well, Alan, I hope I'm drawn to play one of these guys in Qatar next week, because they're going to be pretty damn tired.
Power comes out to change his racket. A very valuable breather for both players. Well, how's the draw for you in Qatar, Martin?
Well, I mean, all draws these days are tough. In 32 draws, you've got some great professional players that are, everyone's putting their life into the game now. So I think I've got Omar El Borrelossi first round, which, you know, he's beaten me before, so it's a very tough match.
So Power back on court. Nicol very sportingly allows him to have a little knock up with the ball before they resume play here in the 5th game here in London. 5-all. Perfect symmetry.
2-all in 5
great
points all.
battles. The greatest rivalry in modern squash. Nicol v Power nearing a conclusion here, and that's a stroke against Nicol. 6-5 Power looking for a big tournament win here in London, Nicol's hometown.
Well, we've reached the first crucial stage of the 5th game, Alan. 6-5 points to Jonathan Power. This is a big point. Peter can't afford to go 2 points down at this stage.
Let ball.
Well, a good
Power
decision.
glares.
I don't like to see strokes given too easily in situations like that, Alan.
Nicol goes deep. Slices it cross court. Power drops. Nicol comes through, gets the let.
Well,
That was touch and go, Martin.
looked kind of like minimal interference to me again.
And the rain now coming down on this Broadgate marquee. It's been a wet, wet week here in London, and those two boys on court will be dripping with sweat. But adrenaline coursing through their veins as they keep the momentum going in this incredible 5th game. And that's a winning lob from Nicol.
That was a big point for Peter Nicol there. He couldn't afford to lose that one.
6-all.
Nicol drives. Power lifts it. So does Nicol. Big cross court from Power. That's loose from Nicol. He's got a chase. He's
Great
got
lob.
the best counter drop in the game. And Nicol at stretch. He can't get that ball. Power just drives it cross court beyond his reach.
7-6.
Both players touching every corner of the court in every rally here. Well, it's been point for point, Alan, so far in this 5th game. I wonder who's going to get the ascendancy and get a bit of a run going.
Lob from Power.
I think
Nicol
whoever
flicks it up the corner.
Whoever manages that, Alan, I think is going to be the end up the winner in this match.
Well, look at this movement deep into the 5th game. Nicol a great drop. Power comes through. No let again.
The problem there was minor interference.
Minor interference is the explanation from referee Clayton. 7-all 5th game.
Well, I think both players are really enjoying this. This is tough work, but they've got so much respect for each other's games and each other's characters that they just love this challenge.
Loose from Nicol. Power drives. Lob to Nicol. Power cross-court again. They're just slowing it down a little bit, trying to get the breath back, waiting for that big push towards the winning post. Nicol scrapes that one off the glass. Let ball. Both players clearly feeling the effects of this match and the effort they've put in throughout the Super Series here in London. It's down the middle from Power. Stroke to Nicol. Great tension here, Martin. The crowd now very subdued, just waiting for the fireworks again. Concentrating on every shot. Glued to the action here. Riveting squash. Brilliant skills, breathtaking retrieving.
That's a great drop shot from Peter Nicol. He just pushes that drop shot.
Nicol, a 2-point cushion, 9-7 in the fifth.
Well, this is the first time there's been a 2-point gap between the players in this fifth game.
Nicol stepping up the pace. Nicol goes forward, drops, great drop. Power gets it back. Nicol comes in, let ball.
No.
Oh. That was a great counter drop from Power.
Well,
he didn't clear it.
Someone from the crowd shouted out stroke there. I think Jonathan's heart missed the beat.
Nicol bounces the ball before serving 9-7. Power will not be giving up.
Well, this is just intriguing squash, Alan. Who is going to break first?
Nicol, look at that movement, sideways, diagonally, still moving from corner to corner. Power sending him to every region of the court.
Well, both players still got great movement around this court.
Loose from Power. Power's on the floor. Holds his foot. He's cramping up. Ken Narain comes on. I'm not sure if he's going to wipe the court or give Jonathan a massage.
Well, I think thankfully it's just cramp. It's obviously very tough, as I was saying before. The person that's going to win this match is going to be the guy that's going to be taking the electrolyte drinks, going to be stocking up on the carbohydrates in between games.
Power gets some on-court treatment.
Somebody shot me with a pellet gun from the crowd.
Referee Clayton says that was a self-inflicted injury. You got 3 minutes.
Nice shot.
And Nicol congratulating the person who pulled the trigger. Fun and games here. And Ken and Jonathan Power go for the Broadgate waltz.
Well, this has turned into a great exhibition here.
Maybe Power doing the Lambeth walk. And let's see who can make the sprint to the title.
Well,
Power gets a rub down, gets a treatment, and a no-let. Nicol gets the lead here in the fifth game. And Ken Narain, court attendant, and Masseur gets a big round of applause.
well, this will definitely favour Peter Nicol. Any sign of weakness that he sees, he's just going to prey on that so much. I reckon he's going to keep pushing him in that front forehand corner.
And Power has another stretch in that back right corner. 10-7 Nicol, fifth game here in London. He's unbeaten this year. His last big title was the Tournament of Champions in New York. That's one of Power's most favourite tournaments, but that's a stroke to Power. Nicol not impressed. 8-10, it's still tight. Nicol won this event 3 times. Hits that in the floor.
Careless shot from Peter Nicol.
Very bad time to produce a mistake like that, Peter.
This is so interesting. This could go all the way to the wire, Alan.
Well, there you see the number 1 hitting the ball in the floor in the 5th game, which is a measure of the severe physical and mental demands of this game.
Absolutely. Either
Power
that or
flicks it out the corner.
Or the ball slipped in a bit of sweat, possibly.
I'm just amazed at how you guys can still grip the racket without them being slippery. After an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours, Power has a check, gets the let.
Right side.
Well, you just don't know what the referee's going to say every time, Alan, do you? Just changes every
That's
time.
been one of the major facets of this match, Martin.
Great shot.
Let ball again. Power holds his head.
Unbelievable decision.
9, 10.
Peter had to be about 6 feet taller than he already is to get that one.
Down the wall from Nicol. That's sat up at the front. Nicol drives it deep again. Power. Gentle push off Nicol's shoulder. And again, that's loose. Power. Nicol cross courts. Power sticks it up for Nicol to volley.
Well, both players taking the ball so early here, Alan.
Big rally, big point. Both lobbing, both taking their time. Short from Nicol.
That's
Power
tight.
scrapes it. Nicol drives it deep. And Power visiting every corner. Loose from Nicol. Let ball again. Power had to do a fair bit of work in that rally, Martin.
Well, Peter had the opportunity there to hit a winning shot, and he decided just to keep the rally going.
Well, he thought if
Probably
Power
should have
is
picked it off.
cramping up, let's see if he wants to run. But at this stage of the match, maybe he should be looking when the opportunity arises to go for the winner, because
Fantastic
Power
shot from Jonathan Power.
fires in a wonderful volley winner.
Well,
10 all.
2 games all, 10 points all. This is when the years of training show, Alan. Both of these players so gifted. But who wants this the most?
Well, you want this match to be decided on the quality of the squash and not by any random decision.
Well, I think
Both
the referee will
players.
be a little bit nervous at this stage, you would have thought.
Both players opting for caution, and Power's lob staying in.
Well, Jonathan's movement just a little bit ragged to the front of the court.
Let ball again.
10 all. Left.
Power serving from the left. An incredible finish to an incredible match. He hoists that out of the back corner two-handed.
I think his wrist is cramping up as well.
Yes, he's been having treatment all week. That's another let.
10 all.
So the last few minutes of this match unfolding.
Peter Nicol still looks like he's moving as if it's the first game here. Volley and everything.
Getting back to the tee, Power goes short. Nicol counter drops, cross court from Power. Nicol in short. And again, Power cross courts.
This
Nicol
is great
volley.
squad.
Power on the chase.
Great
That's the
squad.
winner. That risky cross court from Power is stuck away. Nicol volleys straight, volleys deep.
11, 10.
Oh, that was a
And
huge
Nicol
rally.
gets his nose in front here in the 5th game. 11-10.
Nicol's just volleying everything. It's unbelievable. He's just stepping forward. He's been so positive at this stage.
Power short. Nicol cross court to cover, and the opposite side. Nicol sent side to side 3 shots in a row. Power goes short. Nicol lobs. Dealing
Peter.
with everything Power can fire at him.
Like that, he bumped me off the ball. As I was playing the shot, he bumped me off the ball, and I played a terrible shot. Doesn't matter.
Power appeals. Let ball is given.
Well, given the benefit of the doubt, that's probably a wise decision at this stage.
And Nicol saying that was a terrible shot. You don't deserve a let.
Well, Peter Nicol's so tough. He's actually increased the pace these last few rallies. He's stepping forward onto the ball. He's volleying more. I'm very impressed with the way he's handling this now. Jonathan's going to have to be just as positive if he's going to compete in this match.
Who can hold everything together for these final few points? Works him deep again, but Nicol up to the challenge once again. Great drop, incredible pickup. Nicol still running. Absolutely.
How did he get that ball back?
Incredible.
That is just heartbreaking for Jonathan Power.
This is an amazing rally. Nicol lobs, Power, volleys.
This is
loose
great
from Nicol.
score.
Unbelievable pick from Nicol again.
Oh. What a rally! What a rally!
Power throws his racket in the air. He pushes Nicol out the way. And we're waiting.
Oh my God, referee, what are you doing?
Minute 12-10.
Brilliant rally.
Well, for me, that's the clincher, Alan.
Well, I hope Peter Nicol buys Dean Clayton a beer or two tonight. What a rally. Peter Nicol there showing the toughness that's characterized his professional career.
Absolutely, so
Guts out in the fifth game, chasing down every ball.
12-10.
Nicol serves from the left, looks across at his opponent.
well, I've seen Power in this position before, and he's come out with five easy winners to win a match. I wonder if he can pull it out here.
Nicol choosing not to volley that one, just waiting to see what Power can conjure up next. Patient stuff from Power, knows he cannot afford another mistake or another no-let.
Oh, this is great squash.
Both
So much
players
pressure.
playing intelligent squash, moving brilliantly deep into this fifth game. Look at that touch.
Unbelievable. What a rally. What a rally. Well, it's taken him 6 great shots to win the rally. Normally you'd expect to do it in 2 or 3, but Peter's just picking everything up.
Amazing stuff. The crowd treated to a classic encounter, and it's not over yet. Power drops, Nicol gets it up. Nicol behind Power's drive, in it goes again. Nicol stretches into the front corner. Power boast, Nicol drops, Power lobs. Every shot in the book and some.
Well, this has got everything this match.
Counter drop.
What a tight drop shot again. Great score. Peter Nicol yelping with pain halfway through that rally.
12-all fifth game.
Well, you can't get any better than this, Alan. This is fantastic squash.
Well, of all their battles all over the world, this is one of the closest and tightest and toughest, and certainly one of the most entertaining. Filled with drama, stroke to Power. He's back in front.
I thought the referee was going to no-let him there.
13-12 Power.
This is great resilience from Jonathan Power. I thought after that decision to take Peter to 12-10, he was going to be out.
From Nicol, drive from Nicol.
Oh, fantastic. This is going all the way to the wire, Alan.
13-all, fifth game.
13-all.
Absolutely amazing squash.
Both players trying to play to each other's backhands,
Power
getting
drops.
a loose shot. Great shot.
Power volleys. Nicol comes across. No let Nicol.
So
Power
here we have match
ball.
point.
13.
Incredible
For Jonathan
stuff.
Power to be the Super Series champion for the first time.
Nicol trading volleys. Nicol drop shot.
You could not have scripted this any better. Shot one. Good. That is.
This is it. The sudden death
This is it.
shootout.
Our whole tournament comes down to this 1 point.
What a finish. Nicol smiles.
What are they saying? Split the money?
Okay. Let's see if Power attacks
Let's
the
go.
serve. Which Nick, Martin? Front right?
No, he's going to
Front
keep. It's
left.
going to be a good rally, I think.
Power goes short. That's high. Power volleys deep. And that's it. 15-14 in the fifth.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated for the presentation.
What a finish. Now you two have had some amazing matches all over the world. Some of them have been over quickly because maybe one of you's been injured or a little bit tired towards the end of the week, which is totally understandable. Would you say that was one of the toughest?
No, I was tired, didn't play that well. That was one of the tougher ones. We've had a few tough ones. I think we've played 33 times now, and I think probably a good 25 of them have been quite comfortable one way or the other, but we've had about 5 to 10 real brutal games, 3-2s, they've gone all the way, and you never know who's going to win in that situation. Even in that last game, I got a couple of points ahead, he got a couple of points ahead, then I pulled it back, then he pulled it back, so it was quite exciting stuff. But yeah, that was one of the better ones.
Was it everything you expected?
Not quite. Yeah, it was as hard as I expected it to be. Luckily, I've got a whole 48 hours to recover before I play my next match in Qatar. But we all have to go out there now and play. So yeah, it was as hard as I expected it to be. Obviously, I'd just rather have won. Apart from that, I think it was a great game.
You and Jonathan on the same flight to Qatar?
I hope not. No, we're not. He's on tomorrow morning. I'm on tomorrow evening.
So you're going to enjoy a good night's sleep tonight.
I certainly will.
Peter, we'll see you in a minute for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Nicol. Let's have a word with the champion, Jonathan Power.
Jonathan, congratulations.
What an amazing finish, a brave call at 14-all, just a one.
Yeah, I've been doing that, I think 13 years on tour. I haven't called 3, I don't think, in my life, so I wasn't about to start today. So that's just my style, and sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose them.
So England becoming a popular venue for now. You beat Peter in the Commonwealth Games final in Manchester, and now you've got your first Super Series title. Congratulations, you must love this place now.
Yeah, absolutely. I broke the curse last summer, never winning a tournament. I've been coming here since I was 13, and never could win a tournament in this country, but the curse is broken, and it's nice to see, nice to win a few tournaments.
Now that was a tough battle, but I could see you and Peter exchanging a few words, but also exchanging a few smiles. Obviously played in great spirit.
Yeah, I think we went out there and just played as hard as we can, and stuck to our own game plans and didn't let anything sort of bother us or get too feisty out there.
And as Peter just said, on the plane to Qatar tomorrow morning, what time's your flight?
I'm not going. I'm retiring now because I got one up on him. So that's the end of that. Nice to see you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here first. But Jonathan, now you're a business tycoon as well. How's the sports industry?
Yeah, it's a shame to say that, but yeah, I've embarked on a new sort of venture, bringing up my own shoe company, and we're bringing out clothes next year, and yeah, I'm pretty excited with that. Yeah, try to sort of bring something new to the sport and bring a little flavor, a little style, try to get it going.
Well, there's something we need to talk to you about later with World Squash Day in Ottawa next year, so make sure you don't miss me later on. We'll have a chat later on call for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Power.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I see it on a different scale. Sometimes you roll. Sometimes I see it on a different scale. Sometimes you go. Sometimes I see it on a different scale. Sometimes you roll. Sometimes I see it on a different scale. Sometimes you go.
It's a stroke, please. Let please again.
Stroke to